I want you to think of a book that has impacted your life, whether you've read it or listened to it, or a music artist that you can't get enough of their music and you play it on days where you really need to be uplifted, or you want to cry and you just need that music to like release the emotions. These type of creators have impacted your life. And it's because they have chosen to speak up and use their time, their talents to impact other people's lives. And the coolest part about this is they have impacted your life and they may not even know you. And you have changed for the better because of their courageousness. And I want to impact one person with this video of your voice matters. Whether it is singing, if it is typing, if it is literally writing books, if it's being on video, but like your voice in this world matters. You do not need to have a huge, outrageous millions of followers to create impact. It can be one person at a time that creates this massive ripple effect. And the coolest part that I love about passive income, and more specifically what I teach, which is passive income in educational digital products, is that you can create massive impact, massive change without even leaving your home, without leaving your family, without needing to create have a ton of capital to be able to impact these lives. Like most people nowadays have access to a cell phone, Wi-Fi, and social media. And it has absolutely changed the game for women. If you don't know, when Oprah was wanting to really make her impact, which we all love, the great Oprah, like she has impacted so many lives and continues to impact so many lives. But when she wanted to have her platform, because social media wasn't a thing back in the day, she got turned down several times to have a talk show. And so I think it's so important that we really use social media for good. Social media can absolutely be this place of encouragement, of speaking up, of impacting lives, of really creating transformation with your time, with your talents, with your gifts. And you can and deserve to get paid for those. So it gets to be a both and. We don't have to push away you making money to impact lives. Like they get to coexist. And I really think one of the things that just talking to so many women is that what really holds so many women back is they are afraid to speak up. And I get it. It can be so scary to use your voice, whether that's typed or actually talking, to share your thoughts, your opinions, what you've learned, to teach it, right? To preach it, to be it. It can be absolutely terrifying in this online space. So like, I do want to acknowledge that. And there is a trade-off because there can be so many lives that you impact more than the small percentage of some people that may not like it. And I don't know about you, but I would much rather focus on the good, focus on how I can create change in this world with the time that I have, and be able to do it in a way that's deeply aligned with me and my family. And social media can be that for you. And I think that's just so important for us to really sit back and say, like, what's on my heart? Like, what do I want to share? I actually came into the social media space before I even had my own online business and started recording videos in my car. Like, I had no business plan, no products. Like, I just started recording and wanting to impact lives with things that I was learning and things that were important to me, and just wanting to do it one person at a time. This episode is sponsored by Rebecca. If you don't know Rebecca, she is the CEO and founder of Authors if I could talk, let's take that back. Authors Allies. And I thought this would be a perfect episode for her to sponsor because she helps you get your voice out into the world in the print format. So you helping you after you have a book to be able to market the book to get it out to the world. And so I'm so grateful for Rebecca sponsoring this episode. I will have all the links so you can check her out and connect with her. But she is a wealth of knowledge in the online space when it comes to marketing your book and being able to get it to more people. And so I have really taken a lot of pride recently on like, how can I challenge myself to have more courage to speak up? Because as somebody with ADHD, rejection sensitivity is a really big thing if you don't know about it. And so it can be very terrifying to put yourself out there, to speak up, and somebody not to like it and be not so nice about it. I've had many of those moments, and I've had to really regulate and work through them. So I wanted to share some quick tips with you if you are finding yourself wanting to speak up, but then terrified of what could go wrong. So first and foremost, I want to really invite you to shift into what could go right. Like, wouldn't it feel amazing you sharing something that you've learned, your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas, your gifts, your talents with the world, and somebody reaching out to you being like, thank you. Just one person being like, thank you. And it can be as serious as something that you've navigated and overcome, and how did you do that, to as silly as you baking sourdough bread, right? And that's not really silly. Like, it's fun and interesting, right? And so it doesn't always have to be this something extreme, and it can be whatever you want it to be. But we get to come in the online space and know that if somebody is not being nice to you, you don't have to take it. Just as much as if somebody was in person to you and they weren't talking nicely to you, you don't have to allow that to be how you're treated, right? And so I like to focus on the good. And I also know it comes with other things. And so what has really helped me over even just the last few months as we have grown is we have what's called protocols. So we go through all the scenarios ahead of time. So for somebody that is a planner, that's like, oh my gosh, this could go wrong, this could go wrong, this could go wrong. One of your best superpowers is actually solving a problem before it's a problem. And then it's not a problem. So if and when that happens, now you have a protocol of exactly what to do. The healthcare industry, or healthcare world, really, not industry, that feels odd, but the healthcare field specifically has protocols for everything. And that really helps them provide better care and know how to handle lots of different situations that their healthcare workers may come across. So if and when those moments happen, the healthcare workers can go into protocol mode where they know exactly what to do. So this is something that I just recently taught my passive income students, and they really loved it because they were like, this calms my nerves, right? Like, most of what you plan for protocols won't happen. And when it does happen, it's going to be like this small blimp in time where someone says something that's not so nice. And guess what? Our protocol for that, because there's a difference between being a bully and having a different opinion. And that, like, having a different opinion is totally okay. You can present it in a very thoughtful, respectful way. And also, there's been really rude, mean, hurtful people. And so what our protocol is this is my online space. This is my platform just as much as your platforms are your platforms. And so just like a home, I can decide what feels good and what does not feel good, and then act accordingly. So a lot of times people that are not so nice on social hurt people hurt people. And sadly, it is easier to be behind a keyboard and say some not so nice things. So how I like to judge what is on what side, meaning, is it an opinion that is the opposing side, or is it something that's like just flat out rude and mean? So if I were sitting across the table from somebody, would I like to be in that conversation, right? Like, would that be a productive conversation? My spouse and I don't always agree, but it's very respectful and we get to work through things and talk about it. And that's a conversation I want to be in. So it has really, really been able to help me of like, in real life, would this be a conversation that I would like to be a part of? And if the protocol is no, then I walk away. I don't try to, fight for what I agree, because if someone's being hurtful, they've already decided that that's what they want to do. And I don't want to feed that energy. So if they have a different opinion, then I can choose accordingly. Do I want to have a conversation with this person publicly or privately, hear their side, be able to be like, you know what? I totally see your side, right? Like, we can, opposites can, at the end of the day, disagree and it be totally okay, and we all move on. I'm not looking for a community of everyone that agrees with me, but I am looking for a community that we cheer each other on, we respect each other, we take time to sit back and think and listen, right? And move forward. So I am getting louder and louder and louder, and not from a posting more, but really more so a bolder stance on who am I and what do I truly believe and how do I want to come to the online space, and also knowing not everyone's going to be okay with it. And I get to be at peace with that. I get to be okay with that, because the more I'm truly authentically me, more and more and more, whether it's online or off of line, people understand this is who I am. And they can like it, they can not like it. And what's so refreshing about this is you already know what you're getting yourself into. It's not going to be a weird shock if we were to have a conversation in person, because I'm still me. Right? Or if you come into any of my programs, it's not this crazy whiplash of oh my gosh, she's so different in her programs versus on social media. So even if you are not necessarily, you have a business, I was starting to create videos and speaking up before I even had a business. So I think it's important to know you don't have to have a business to make an impact. The cool part about creating an online business is that it allows you to be able to use your voice more because you have more time, right? So if you no longer need a 9-to-5 job, then you're able to speak up more. You're able to create more videos if you want. You're able to come on more stages or write more books, whatever it may be, create more courses, impact more lives. I did a 3-day event with some amazing humans because this is my job, right? I wouldn't be able to do that easily if I had a full-time job elsewhere, right? So it's allowed me not only to be a mama, and equally, what's always been the goal is impacting lives, right? Be a mom, impact a lot of lives, and allow them to really thrive together, so that way I'm never feeling like I have to pick or choose. As my daughter puts deodorant on her face. Let's not do that. That's not a good idea. Hey, we don't put deodorant on our face. I mean, I guess you're sweaty on your face. What? Are you sweaty?
Yes, a little bit.
A little sweaty? Okay. Maybe she's on to something. Maybe she is on to something. I'm telling her she can't do that, but you do sweat on your face. I need some opinions here. Yeah, just don't lick it. Don't lick it, says Rebecca. So I want to see more courageous women on my feed that are just speaking up. We're not trying to keep the peace and stay quiet about our thoughts and our opinions out of fear, right? Of not everyone liking it. This is holding so many of us back by us worried, right? That people pleaser, worried about someone not agreeing. I have talked to so many women and they are afraid Like, legitimately, this is a real thing. They are afraid of what their family is going to think by them posting more on social media. Legitimately, this is a thing happening. Maybe that's how you're feeling. They're afraid of what they're going to think. They're afraid that as they have more opinions and they share them or they post more, that their family is going to make fun of them. Their family is going to judge them. They're going to say things. Maybe they already are. Like, this legit is happening with so many women in my circles. And it breaks my heart because family is not just blood. Like, they don't get to just treat you however they want to. And so again, if someone is making fun of you and you wouldn't want to sit across a table, like a real life table of somebody making fun of you, why are we sitting back and letting that happen, right? Like, why are we allowing that to be our reality? Like, no, in my opinion, no one can tell you, like, no one has consent over your day. Like, people will try to ruin your day, but no one has consent over your day being ruined until you give them consent. And that is so true also to how you run your social media. They do not have consent until you give them the consent. And when you are so fearful of strangers on the internet making fun of you and saying not nice things, and or people making fun of you, we are giving our consent away. We are giving our power away. And why? Like, at the end of the day, why? And I have been there. When I started making those videos more and more, people poked fun at me. And I sat there and took it. And it really breaks my heart. Like, I continued to make the videos, but I just smiled and nodded and allowed people to treat me that way. So this is not just a speaking up on social when it's convenient. This is not just a speaking up when you have been able to perfectly craft a post or a reel or a video or a live, right? Those things can be beautiful and be in your comfort zone. Oh boy. And also, we also get to speak up for ourselves and build that muscle and build that confidence in person. And I do believe, like, I always strive to be kind, but kind is not meant to be confused with allowing you just to get punched in the face, virtually or in person, with people's thoughts, opinions, words, etc. If you don't agree with it, like, we get to speak up. We get to take a stand and say, I do not agree, right? I do not agree. That does not feel good. And you get to move accordingly. And this is so important because I really legitimately think back to when people made fun of me. And like I said, I allowed it to happen. And I still was continuing to make videos, but I did think about them in the back of my mind. I'm shocked that I continued, to be honest. And this is why you having a community around you that is very like-minded, you working on your mindset is so important, because I even remember being in the recovery room with Boone, my second baby, and I made some sort of post online that said, I'm so grateful for my clients. I was loving checking in with them. And someone on the internet that I did not know said, how dare I work in the hospital? And that's like, how, like, literally said, shame on me, shame on me for working in the hospital. And one, I was in a very fragile state of, like, I just gave birth. This is something that felt good to me. It is, like, again, this is, like, I was giving myself consent to do something that felt good, and someone else didn't agree with it. And here's where we really get to be careful. If I was not dialed in with my mindset, even as fragile as, post OR, I take my mindset so serious. On the good days and the bad days, I always go back and work on it. And if it wasn't super dialed in and I had the tools and the resources and the support, that could very much have derailed me. Like, I could have gone off the internet and never made a post again, right? Because maybe that would have triggered me. Maybe I would have said, oh my gosh, this person's right. Like that could have created a spiral if I would have given it consent, right? Like if I would have been taking that for face value versus just somebody not so nice on the internet. So this is why your protocols are so important. I acted in protocol. It's, ironic that I was in a hospital, but I acted with my protocol. I did not respond to her, and I immediately blocked her. It is not worth the energy trying to convince somebody that how I run my business and live my life is how they like it or not. That person does not pay my bills. They are not a person that I gave consent to advise me on how I'm living, right? And so we just get to be so careful with, are we allowing to give our consent away to people that don't deserve to have it, that shouldn't have it, that it's not like what you would want for somebody else, right? Like when I think of my daughter, like I want her speaking up for herself. And like me doing that is one of the best things that I know how to do. And so I just really want you to think about what has been something that you've really wanted to say, right? That you've really wanted to share on social, whether it's super serious or something so like fun and playful, but you're worried about what other people are going to think. Because here's the thing, for people that really love you and want to be in your world, you can't post too much. You can't say too many things. You can't have too many opinions, right? Like, hey, 1 second. So focus on those people because they're wanting more of you. Like think of your favorite author or your favorite artist. Think of your favorite show. If they were to produce more music, more books, more of that show, more of that movie, you would be so giddy. You'd be like, yes, I can't get enough, right? Like you get to focus on those people that are wanting more from you. Okay, that are wanting more from you. Focus your energy and your efforts there and keep your consent with yourself. You get to have consent with what you do and how you do it, what you speak up about, when you speak up about it, how you speak up about it. And so I just want you to check in with yourself on, are you living your truth? Are you speaking up? Are you sharing? Are you being the you that you want to be in the way that you want to be? And as humans, we do desire to grow. And so this can be a great prompt for you to think about, how do you want to grow? How do you want to expand your comfort zone when it comes to speaking up and being a leader in your space? And that can be in your home. That can be in your community, like your actual physical community. That can be on the online space. That can be in a network marketing company. That can be in a group that you're affiliated with. That can be in your actual 9-to-5. There's so many opportunities that we want a seat at the table as women. Guess what? When you want a seat at the table, we got to be willing to speak up. We got to be okay with not being liked by everyone, because even tacos and margaritas and pizza, which kind of shocks me, not everyone likes those things. And those are like some of the easiest things to like on this world. Not everyone likes to go to Target. Not everyone likes Taylor Swift. It shocks me. These are all things that I like. And so again, blow my mind when people don't like them or the people, right? And so no one, no matter who you are, no matter if you're tacos or margs or Taylor Swift, you can't please everyone. And it can actually be so therapeutic and such freedom when you just let go of that and actually say what you want to say. You be who you want to be. That is true freedom. Money freedom is amazing. Time freedom is also equally amazing. And none of it feels as good as it can unless you're truly, deeply being who you want to be. So I recommend that's where you start. Then the time freedom will come. Then the money freedom will come. Oh, you're silly. And it will all feel so incredible. And you'll actually enjoy it so much more, and you'll change so many lives. And you're not always going to get the validation from everyone. Not every single person that Taylor Swift has impacted with her music does she know. Does she get that feedback? And that gets to be okay. And that is one of the challenging parts about wanting to scale and wanting to expand, that you're not always going to get that validation, but just know it in your heart. Just know it in your heart that your words, that your gifts, that your talents, as you share them more and more authentically, are impacting even more lives than you realize. We can't always be in it for the validation. Does it feel good? Of course, you're a human. You want to know that you are impacting lives. You want to know that you're making a difference. You want to know that your voice matters. And we're not always going to get that at the level that it's happening, and also at the time that it's happening. Not everyone is going to like and comment and slide into your DMs and buy from you. And at the end of the day, when you're running such a heart-centered business, even if you're not at a business yet, a heart-centered online platform, a heart-centered home, right? Like all of it coming back to your heart, it can really radically change this world. Like, it can really change it. And so just check in with yourself of, what have I really been wanting to speak up about? And I want you to go do that. And you can start small. It can be in your stories. It can be with one person. It can be at a coffee date. It can be you write it down in your notes section. Like, go at a pace that feels good to you, but you doing this activity of you speaking up in small ways will build confidence that, oh my gosh, I did it. Now I'm going to do it again. Now I'm going to do it again. Now I'm going to do it again. It is no one else's job to speak up for your wants, your needs, your desires, what matters to you than you. Like, this is your responsibility. And you can do it in a very kind, ethical, thoughtful way and courageous, but not everyone's going to like it. And we get to be at peace with that and regulate around it as you navigate this and as you expand your comfort zone. So you starting small and doing it slowly is a way to really help you through that. But I need you to hear, your voice matters. Your thoughts and opinions matter. Your gifts matter. And the thing at the end of our life is we so deeply will look back and we regret things. We're like, man, I should have spoken up. I should have reached out more. I should have shared my gifts more, right? Like, and so we really want to maximize every single day as if it is the last in every aspect. And so one thing that I shared with our passive income school students today, she is kissing my door with all of her lipstick. That's going to be fun with the magic eraser.
Look, Mom.
I see, it's everywhere, you guys. Send help, send help.
And I kissed my ear too.
Oh my goodness, it's everywhere.
I can't see it.
I know, I can't see it. Mwah.
I want doing your cheek.
Oh, you want to do it on my cheek? Okay. Oh, that's cute. Did I do it?
It looks like disappeared.
It disappeared? You're like, magic.
Hey, Mom, I'm trying to get my makeup off.
Okay, I'll take it off.
But it's no getting off. Where is it?
Okay. Oh, we'll take it off. Okay.
I can't.
I got you.
Can you help me right
I will.
now?
Yes, right now. Okay. Let me close this out so I don't leave them hanging.
I'm gonna do this.
Okay. This is real life. I don't even apologize for it. If this is when I could do my video, this is what we get, because this is real life. Anywho, okay, so let's try to bring this all back in the most collective way that I know.
That's not
Okay?
gonna work.
So your voice matters. Us doing this in a very peaceful way is important. It really is. I don't want you to freak out and be like, oh my gosh, Nellie told me to speak up and now I'm just going to like go off the rails. Okay. And we can do this in a very kind and thoughtful and courageous way. But we do get to do it. And we get to do it again and do it again and do it again and know that you are impacting so many lives including your own. This is how you can live in deeper authenticity because you're being true to you. You are using your heart as your compass of like, what feels good? What am I passionate about? Like, it is so important that we check in with you as you navigate life of what really matters to you. What feels good to you? What are you excited about? How can we use your time and your talents for the greatest good? And it's more than okay for you to get paid for it. Like, I just want more women to feel comfortable around that thought of, I can absolutely use my skills for the greater good and get paid for them. Like, we get to really work on that as women and feel comfortable in that, because that's how it really works so beautifully, is when you're comfortable with it, when you're excited about it, when you're leaning into it, you're not pushing it away, you're not scared of it, right? Like, you're really embracing it and allowing it to feel incredible. So I invite you to think about, what is one way that you want to speak up, and how do you want to speak up, and when do you want to speak up? And you doing it will build so much trust, so much confidence with yourself that is so real and so authentic that it will just keep building and building and building and building. And like, one of my favorite qualities of my husband in particular is I know that he's always being honest with me. He's always being authentic with me. And it's one of my favorite things about him, because I always know I'm getting the real thing. And that feels good, right? Like, you probably have a friend like that, or maybe you're that friend where you're like, my circle knows, like, I love them, and I'm gonna be real with them. Like, I'm not gonna hold back. And you do it in a loving way, or the person in your world does it in a loving way, and you really genuinely appreciate it. So check in with yourself of how you're doing that, how you can do that more in you, because it really is appreciated. Like, there's been so many times that I've had lunch dates with people, and I'm like, how are you? And they're like, oh my gosh, not good. And like, we have the most authentic conversation that isn't like surface level pretending, right? Like, people are really craving that connection, and how we actually have deep connection is being real. And you can work through something and regulate around something and then open up about it. Like, it can always be on your terms. It gets to always be on your terms. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to immediately be authentic with people. And equally, if you got to a lunch and someone's like, how are you? And you don't want to open up, you don't have to. Again, consent with yourself. It just always gets to be what you want it to be, in the way that you want it to be. This is true freedom. Money freedom and time freedom will come, and they will feel so much better when you're so deep rooted in who you be, and you're not afraid to speak up about it. And I wish that there was just like this magic wand, and this will take time, but those protocols are huge. Like, the protocols are massive for this. And it will slowly start to become second nature, where you're like, okay, I'm going to speak up about this. And like, you're excited about it, right? Like, okay, this is what I want to do. And it's because you're building that muscle. The first time you lift weights, it's not so easy, but you get stronger, and then you bump your weights up. So this will be so much like that, where you'll continue to share. And whether you have a social media following of 5 or 50 or 50,000, beautiful. Like, somebody is listening to what you are saying or want to say, and they will deeply impact from it. Like, when every single person has come on the social media space, they've had to build, right? And what a beautiful thing. And when you're doing it in a space that you're truly being authentically you, you'll build the community that you truly do want. And it's not just about having X amount of followers. Like, I would much rather my feed be filled with people that I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, 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 right? Rather than the actual number, right? Like, quality always comes first when it comes to really anything. And then quantity can come second if we need or want it to. So this is your sign. Go speak up about something, whether it's silly or serious, in a way that feels good to you, and watch the magic happen internally and externally. And I want you to do it because you want to do it. So take this as a sign that you're going to sit with yourself and you're going to think about this. Rebecca, thank you so much for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you are following Authors Allies, connecting to Rebecca. She is absolutely helping getting voices out into this world and helping you feel good about it when it comes to your actual book. And know that you already are impacting lives. It's just a matter of, do you want to speak up more? And that's your choice, because you give yourself consent, right? So you decide, and I just don't want you to live in fear. And that's the reason why you didn't. So if you really are deeply like, yes, I want to have a YouTube channel. I want to have a podcast. I want to write books. I want to have videos. I want to post. Like, you want to blog. Like, you're just feeling this deep tug to use your voice for good. Use your voice for good. It doesn't have to be attached to this big, grand business plan. That will actually organically come if it isn't already there. Don't worry about that stuff, which may sound odd, but you just stepping into like what's tugging at your heart and speaking up about it, the path of the business plan will come. It came for me in due time, and it continues to come for me the more I live in alignment with my heart. And this is the stuff that I want to speak up more about, because there's so many people coming to the online space about tactics and strategies, and they work and they're amazing. And also, if they're not fully aligned with you and we're taking also care of you, we're missing a big puzzle piece that's really important. Like, you are the MVP. So I'm going to go be mom. I love you so much. Go speak up. We're going to go take off some makeup and have girl time, huh? Anything else you want to say to them?
Hi, Beatles.
Hi, what?
I said hi, Play-Dohs.
Play-Dohs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that.
No. I just don't know how to
You can already see. You can already see.
Hi, burrito poopy.
Oh, burrito poopy, that's not nice. Protocol.
Poopy.
No. Okay. And scene. We're going to go wipe up the kisses on my door. Goodbye.